Hey, what's up you guys? Yes, welcome back. The main thing that is going to change with these conspiracy videos is I'm going to go even darker. So if you are triggered by suicide or murder or possible abuse of children in Hollywood, then you might want to leave this video. Side note, that's something I want to start incorporating more into these videos too. If I find out that a theory I've talked about has been debunked, I won't bring it up because I think people should be looking deeper and deeper into them and not just thinking everything is true, because some of these theories end up being bullshit.
Conspiracy theorist, a word meant to undermine and discourage people from asking legitimate questions. Or I guess not always legitimate, sometimes just stupid. It's something that has had a huge impact on social media, with accounts ranging from batshit crazy to somewhat thought-provoking, questioning everything from the curving of the earth to the discussion of extraterrestrial beings. And while these topics are very interesting and are good for creating a dialogue, sometimes it just goes too far. Where there's good, there's always evil.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Serious crap.
On YouTube, when talking about conspiracy theories, someone that pops out in most people's head is Shane Dawson. Shane is a YouTube legend. He doesn't need any introduction, but if you are unaware, Shane is a YouTuber with over 20 million subs that he has amassed through maybe one of the longest lasting YouTube careers out there. Shane has created a lot of content over the 9 years of making videos. He made some good stuff, then some bad stuff, and then out of nowhere, he just began to bombard us with amazing creations from left and right, making stuff where it was obvious that he genuinely cared about the topics and was fascinated by it. One of these series being his conspiracy theory series, where Shane would talk about theories he found fascinating. Then after describing said theory, Shane then states his opinion and asks what the viewer thinks. I've been keeping up to date with his series for an amazingly long time, and through all the hours of watch time, I've always had this thought. Seriously, this is kinda dumb and could probably easily be debunked. I always thought this, but I never actually tried. Until now. This video will be me trying to debunk a ton of Shane Dawson's most popular conspiracy theories, checking the validity of these theories and fact-checking a hell of a lot of fact-checking. So let's try to debunk Shane Dawson's most popular conspiracy theories.
Okay, so in this home video, you see these two girls hanging out in their living room. Then in the corner of the doorway, you see what looks to be a ghost girl peeking through. Now she's super high up, almost as if she's floating. And then some crazy ass shit happens. Just watch.
Are you sure? I don't think so.
Yeah!
What's that? Up there! I told you! What's it on? I told you I seen something! Quickly! No! I bet I'm telling you now. Up there! See? What'd I say? Oh my god! What'd I say? It's gone! No, shush.
Let me start out with the obvious questions. Why does the girl not have a reaction to the supposed ghost just looking at her? How are they able to make it from what looks like the living room all the way to the driveway in mere seconds? Why is this video tagged as girl, scary and funny? I don't see what's funny about that. And lastly, why is the quality so bad? I know this was uploaded in 2007, but they had better quality than that. These are all things that really doesn't prove that much, other than expose the pattern of these videos to us. They're usually terrible quality. This is done to disguise the effects that are put on, cause the worse the quality is, the harder it is to spot the details. If all of that didn't convince you that this is fake, here's some of the more technical criticism. When the ghost appears, for a few frames, the color just suddenly shifts, which also could suggest the video has been tampered with. So you might say that's cool and all, but how do you explain the ghost getting up the stairs so fast? Remember Zach King? Zach was an ex-Viner, now turned YouTuber. He would usually post these short magic videos, and what he would use was the invisible cuts. And with this ghost video, a similar method has probably been used. So where has the invisible cut been made? You can see that right when she walks over to the ghost, right as she's about to turn, it freezes for one frame. This is where the cut was most likely made.
Okay, so this next video was caught on surveillance cameras at an office building. And somebody is watching and recording it with their iPhone, and you can hear a bunch of people standing around watching too. Because of that, this one feels very real to me. And I definitely don't think this one is fake. So in this video, you see a man working at an office all alone at night when some things around the office start to move. And then it gets fucked up.
Hey, he had a fever? I heard that he had a fever.
Wait.
Did you see that? That one, the chair.
Wait.
Yeah, the chair, that chair.
What are you doing?
Okay, that is
Okay.
I can't see
anything.
Okay.
Whoa.
This one was obviously made using wires and compositing. Don't even try to argue. Here's how they did it. Since the camera is not moving at all, this makes it very easy to add objects into the picture. The chairs was obviously just moved by wires, while the paper either were moved with wires as well or with effects.
Mattress Firm is some sort of giant money laundering scheme. They are fucking everywhere and always empty. I remember seeing 4 mattress firms all on each corner of an intersection once. There is no way there's such a demand for mattresses. And then they posted a Google Maps link, and it was insane. Yeah, 20 results for mattress firms, all in the same location. Some of them are literally across the street from each other.
This theory is built up by the fact that there are an obscene amount of mattress firms located close to each other. So why is that? This actually has a simple explanation. You see, it's not only mattress firms that does this. When you're a big corporation like Mattress Firm, McDonald's, Burger King, etc., you'll have more stores. Company Man made a very interesting video going into details with this. I really recommend watching it. He does a pretty good job explaining it. You might say this doesn't explain why there are multiple on the same street. Well commented. Since 2009, Mattress Firm has been acquiring different mattress stores. This is probably why there are multiple stores on the same street. It was probably another store before. Now we're moving into the more believable theories with proof. Proof, of course, meaning coincidence, because that's all it is.
Okay, so this next conspiracy theory blew my fucking brain, and that is because this is about one of my favorite things of all time, and that is the theory that the Titanic never actually sank. Okay, so you guys know how obsessed I am with the movie The Titanic, so this fucking really confused me. I did not want to believe it, but then after I started actually looking at all of the research and all of the proof, I think I do. So the theory is that the company that created the Titanic also had other boats, which is true. And one of their boats was called the Olympic. And supposedly the Olympic had had a couple collisions and was kind of on its last leg. And they didn't want to lose all the money that they were going to lose when the fucking Olympic couldn't go anymore. So before the voyage of the Titanic, they switched ships. So they put the Titanic logo on the Olympic, they put the Olympic logo on the Titanic, and then the boat that left with all those people on it that day was actually the Olympic, and they knew it was gonna sink. And they wanted it to sink so that they could collect insurance money. I know, it sounds crazy, but honestly, it's not that far-fetched when you listen to the evidence.
The base of this theory is that it is one big insurance scam. Well, the Daily Mail revealed a document showing that Titanic was valued at $5 million. And if it was Olympic that was sunken, would it even be much of a profit? The Olympic cost $7.5 million, so that really wouldn't be a profit at all.
Number 1, the portholes. So on the side of the ship, you can see all the portholes. Well, the Olympic had 16 and the Titanic only had 14. Well, here's a picture of the Titanic on the day that it sailed, and now it has 16. And you know what else has 16? The Olympic. So did they just swap them a few days before the sail? Seems that way.
Yes, it's true that the Titanic had 14 portholes, and somehow on launch 2 extra portholes had appeared. Believe it or not, but the Titanic had those 2 portholes added to light the crew's galley and washroom.
Number 2, when James Cameron was going underneath the water to look for the Titanic and look for old pieces of it, he took a bunch of pictures and a bunch of footage, and he got the side of the Titanic. Now when you zoom in really close on the side, you can see a big letter M and letter P. Well, you know what else has the big letters M and P on the side of it? The Olympic.
This, on the surface, is the most damning evidence, or so it would seem. Miles Power has already made a 22-minute long video debunking a lot of the so-called evidence, and to quote him,
into the hull are the letters M and P.
I mean, yeah, who are they trying to kid? Who are they trying to kid with this really poor CGI? Even poor for the late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, they are fabricating evidence. They commissioned someone to make this for this documentary. I mean, I know it's not unusual for conspiracy theorists to fabricate data, but bloody hell, usually they're a lot more competent at it than this. This is... Well, I know I say laughable quite a lot when I want to totally have a go at someone, but this is laughable as in I was laughing my bloody arse off watching this, thinking, come on guys, come on, you know.
And the last piece of evidence is really fucking convincing. A man named James Fenton, who worked on the ship, said on his deathbed, and that the Titanic didn't sink that day, the Olympic did. He said that he survived the sinking of the ship, and then once him and the rest of the crew that survived got on land, people from the government were there. Well, James and his co-worker friend said, hey guys, we know what the fuck you did, we heard all the rumors, we know that we were on the Olympic. And the government people said, if you say one word about this, we will throw you in jail forever. And that's why he never told anybody until the day he died.
I have a few questions before we start. First of all, why would the government care that much? Why would they imprison people for speaking up? And wouldn't that bring attention to the fact that something was wrong? If a lot of people just randomly was imprisoned, wouldn't that cause more attention to be brought to the subject? It's also a lot of people you would have to imprison. All the employees and the locals who supposedly were theorizing already. It really doesn't make much sense logically, does it? Then there's this guy, James Fenton, who supposedly worked on the ship. But looking at the Wikipedia list, he's nowhere to be found. Even when you search for his other alias, Paddy Fenton, that kind of destroys his credibility.
So here's what some people think. Some people think, this is really creepy, that the world was supposed to end in 2000. Like, you remember the whole, you weren't born.
No, I do remember that actually.
So it was like Y2K, it was like this whole thing with the world's gonna end, right? So some people think that the world did end and we went to a parallel universe, and that's when the Berenstain and all that other stuff.
Okay.
Then people think the world ended again
in
2012.
Yeah.
And that's when the Chick-fil-A thing happened.
The Mandela effect. How could you possibly debunk that? A large group of people who all remember certain facts different than they actually are. They couldn't just possibly be wrong. It's not like if you search up Mandela effects, 3 results down the actual thing pops up. Oh wait, it does. A false memory is a psychological phenomenon where a person recalls something that did not happen, or that something happened differently from the way it happened. That's the real reason. This isn't a big conspiracy. The Monopoly guy never had a monocle. Kit Kat was never spelled with a dash. You probably just misheard that famous movie line, and the world never ended. You're just wrong. Deal with it. You're definitely learning to look at the theories more critically now, Shane.
Alright, now this last theory we're going to talk about sounds fun, but the more you think about it, the creepier it is. And that is the theory that mermaids exist. Now, mermaids have been in pop culture forever. I mean, they've been in TV shows and Disney movies, but they've been around for even longer than that. I mean, there's literally cave drawings of what look like mermaids. And there's been tons of proof throughout the years that they might. I mean, here's a picture that somebody took where you can see what looks like a mermaid on a rock. Now that probably is fake, but still, I mean, it looks pretty good.
Okay, this picture is obviously fake. I don't even need to say it. And you also say it, so moving on.
Then you have this famous picture of a man standing next to what looks like a huge mermaid skeleton.
This is also a fake image. You can see in the picture that the skeleton is laying down. That means the sun is right over it. Therefore, no shadows were projected. So the way the guy's standing makes absolutely no sense. The dirt he stands on is not blended at all. You can even see something white on his edges, suggesting that he was cut out. Very poorly, I might add. And also, this is a real image. One Google search. It took me one search to find this image. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so I was watching one of your videos and you were talking about something called the aquatic ape theory. Can you explain what that is?
It's like in evolution, a type of monkey or some monkeys on one part of the globe had an environment that was mainly water because as we know, over time, the Earth changed a ton and the elements could have been completely different.
Right.
So it basically thinks that we have an aquatic phase and that certain groups of monkeys, future humans, had to adapt to this way of life, had to adapt for survival.
I mean, that makes sense to me. I mean, if you think about it, if monkeys were raised, I guess, in the wilderness, they had to like evolve to that, which is what we are today, hunters and stuff. But if they were raised in the water, then they would over time get scales and get fins and learn how to stay underwater for a long time. So if there's still monkeys around, then there might still be mermaids. Mermonkeys.
Right? Yes, there could be mermaids, yes.
Listen, I'm in no way a biologist, but I'm still able to call bullshit. First of all, I don't even think she described the aquatic ape theory. From what I've read, it's just theorizing why us humans have features that other primates don't, thereby saying that we got those features from being in the aquatic phase. But let's just say that it's her own theory. How would I debunk that? Well, it's hard to disprove fiction, but let me try. How exactly would the apes be trapped? You can't just say because, water. If they were trapped by all that water, then they wouldn't adapt and get scales or fins. No. They would die. It's that simple. They would die.
Okay, so Hillary Clinton did a speech in North Carolina, and there's a few things about the footage that look shady. So the first thing that was weird about the footage was the people in the crowd all had their phones out and they were filming what was happening. But if you look at their phones, like in front of them there's flags on the phone screen, no flags. When Hillary walks by, you don't see her on their phone screens. Take a look.
I want you to take notice of these cameras and the phones. Where's the background? Here comes Hillary. Where are the flags on these people's phones? Where are the flags? Here comes Hillary. Here comes Hillary. Watch this guy to the left's phone. Watch his phone. Where is she? Where's Hillary?
See what I mean? Fucking weird. Now, when you put in an image over a green screen phone, it has a certain look to it. It never looks quite real. It kind of looks too bright, too saturated. And if you really look at the phone screens, you can tell that there's something off. You can tell that they're too saturated, that they're a little too blurry or a little too crystal clear. It just does not look real. Trust me, I've done green screen. It looks like green screen. Now the next thing that happens is really fucking creepy. While she's talking on stage, she starts glitching. Then she glitches and fucking disappears. Check it out. What the fuck? The flag behind her? Fine. She disappears, which makes me think that the flag was just a background and she was composited on top of it because it's green screen, and then it glitched and she's gone. But possibly the weirdest thing about this speech was the fact that at the end of it, when she's like waving goodbye to everybody, she turns around and starts pointing and waving to people that aren't there. Look.
Okay, here we go. Who's she waving to, folks? I'm not sure. She's looking directly straight at a flag and waving, and now a point. Okay, I'm done.
I mean, listen, if it's not green screen, there's something else fucking weird going on, right? Like, what?
This has to be a joke. No, Shane, Hillary isn't filming this on a green screen. She isn't faking her rallies. Let's go through your proof now, shall we? So, Hillary just disappeared because of a glitch in the editing. Is this what you're saying? I can assure you that this isn't the case. What you're seeing is predictive frames. It's hard to explain, so I'll just show how Photoshop does it. Something of note is that this glitch only happened on ABC. You can watch an uninterrupted version on Fox, but apparently that's fake. Jesus Christ. So you say you can see that it's green screen, huh? Well, you are the one who starred in a top tier movie, so I'll take your word. You say that it looks like green screen, but I disagree. Why do you think it's green screen? Is it because the flags aren't there? Well, they are. Is it because some of them are more brighter than others? No shit, there's something called a brightness slider on every single smartphone. I'm failing to see what it is that is even remotely like green screen. Some of the phones even has reflections. Here you can see a phone being waved, and here it appears on the phone. That's not just something you can do. So why can't you see Hillary? Well, from what I can see, it was probably filmed in such an angle so that it looked like the crowd was closer than they actually were. And also, how am I supposed to make anything out on that little screen? Who is she waving to? Are you actually joking? Sorry, but am I the only one with functioning eyeballs? The camera literally pans over to the people she's waving to. I'm done, I can't take this. No, I'm done. Oh, side note, here's an alternate angle of the rally.